can't believe that I didn't release this one. This is What Are Humans, Part 4, with Leumas from Chant. An excellent episode in our ongoing series into the study of what are humans, who are we, where do we come from, and all the variations in between. I know it's been a hot minute again since you've heard from me. I'm trying to find my way forward, recalibrating and re-engaging. Never forget that you can readjust, recalibrate, reassess, reload, and re-engage at any time that you need to. It's important. I will expand on some of the things that I've seen and learned, and however, that's not for today. For today, I wanted to give a special shout out to Sean. He reached out to see if I was okay. Thank you very much, brother. I really appreciate that. And to our sponsors, Pespro Wit Sundays, The Bearded Hippo, Market Mafia, and Filth Activewear. Really appreciate you boys. Look after yourselves. Take care. Be kind. Be cool. And you'll hear from me again soon. Cheers.
Welcome back, everyone. This is another Chant Down Unlocking the Code compilation here. This is What Are Humans, Part 4, and welcome back, Triffin.
How are you, mate? We're back again. This, I'm not too sure how long this one's going to go for. We'll see. I don't know. We might be doing a number 5. I think that this is, say so. Yeah, that's okay. This stuff's important, man. Like these are the reasons we take a little bit longer to get these ones out. We're doing research. We're making sure that we're crossing our T's and dotting our I's. You know, new research is always coming up as well, new facts, new things. So it's, I love these episodes. I look forward to them.
Me too.
I've been reading Lloyd's book this time. I got some stuff about the Sumerians from Lloyd. And the Tiamat stuff, and the Tiamat's interesting. We might not get to that one today. However, we left off last time, and we wanted to talk about jeans,
right?
Not Levi's.
not Levi's.
And you had some stuff you hadn't spoken about. So kick us off, mate. Sure. Where do you want to go with jeans?
I think so. We kind of left off, if I remember right. We were talking about how the second chromosome is the dead giveaway. It separates us from animals. It's been altered. It's weird. It's out of left field. We have 46 out of 48 chromosomes. Animals have 48 chromosomes. And here we are, with 46, and the second chromosome's all strange. And I think the biggest picture we are illustrating through this series is, just to kind of go big picture for a second, is that we were tinkered with or interfered with by an outside force. I mean, I'm okay with saying an alien race or an outside race when you look at all the info, but we are trying to lay out here that it's kind of obvious an outside force is the answer. And, Zacharias Sitchin or not, you don't have to have Sitchin to see this picture. So
that's right. Sitchin, yeah. So you are correct.
That's important, I think, too, because there's a lot of hate for that guy. I don't hate him, but I think that there's some questionable things. Sure, there is, but we don't have to have him to talk about all this. So,
I mean, if we be honest, mate, not all of our research has been gold either, right? Right. When it comes to Sitchin, I went through a thing with Sitchin when we did the EFS series, and Max Egan talked a lot about Sitchin, and I had a visceral reaction to Sitchin, thinking he was not legitimate. And then since that time, I've actually read into a lot of Zacharias Sitchin's work. I've had a look at it, and no one else dedicated the same amount of time to understanding the Sumerian tablets more than Zacharias Sitchin. He put his 10,000 hours in.
Is he going to 30 years in, or at least 30 years?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, is he going to get every tablet right? No, he's unlocking a dead language that no one understood until he did it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's one thing. Oh, he's all wrong. It's like, yeah, but did you put in the time?
Right.
And interpretations are interesting. And the thing is, you can leave the Anunnaki out, you can leave Nibiru out, you can leave all that stuff out and still, the Sumerians are interesting. I want to come back to them because they're technically the first civilization. Obviously, Eridu, the first city, was Sumerian, which we did an episode on a little while ago. However, we are, in my mind, the more of the research that I do into this series, we were genetically modified from something else, or we were adapted from a hominid and created. There's no doubt in my mind. I mean, we can talk about telomere caps. There's all these things when they break down our DNA that you can see that they've been messed with. Oh, this one's been taken out and it's been sealed.
Yeah.
This is modern research that you can look up, on Google, and it's not a problem.
Right.
So you talked about the chromosomes. What else did you want to talk about with genes there?
Well, I think, I don't know if I said it in the last one.
Don't worry, mate.
It's a warm up anyway. But some researchers land on these gods with a little g, these whoever they were, gave us too much of their genes, and people were getting too intelligent, and that's possible, and they had to downgrade us, and that's why they had to. Yeah,
there's the downgrade theory. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But then sometimes I land on the other side that the Earth species was too prevalent, and that's why they had to shut off some of our DNA, because the Earth species wouldn't be enslaved. And that explains junk DNA, non-coding DNA, and why 10% of our brain is not being used, or is being used rather than the rest, or something like that. I know that varies.
Yeah, I think that research varies now. I think but we're still not using 100% of our brain.
No, we're not.
It's not the classic 10%, but it's we're not using all of it. I think we use some regions of it at the same time, up to about 25% at any one time. Yeah, something around, because I looked into that a little while ago.
So we've definitely been shut off from it. But then again, I wanted to bring this up. I do think the first iteration of humans, whatever that was more like the beings that may have tinkered with us. Because if you go into the myth of Adapa, which is one of the Sumerian tablets, they talk about Adapa being Adam, basically the same. The first man, it says on there, quoting here, he was a semi-divine being and was the wise man and priest of the temple of Ea at Eridu. So this wasn't just like some slave. They were, it sounds like they put a lot of work into this guy, or species or whatever, the first iteration of humans, to where they were a lot more functional than probably we are. So could it be that they were like, oh shit, we messed up and gave them too much of us, so now we got to downgrade them because they're, too smart or living too long, but then the Earth species side of us wouldn't want to be enslaved. So I don't know what side to land on there exactly, but it's interesting. It is interesting. There's plenty of talk about the downgrade theory. It's, one of the more esoteric sides of research that I write stuff down about every now and again is what is magic with a K. Oh yeah.
And why is it that we all, well, not all, I wouldn't say all, however, there's a certain percentage of us that know within our hearts, our souls, our minds that that's true. Like that the force is real. These things aren't actually untrue. And it's like, did once upon a time we have access to, as we say, magic with a K? Were we able to manipulate elements? When it comes to moving 2,000-ton stones, you have to start talking about, the way to say it that will get people's attention is a different technology. But what if it's not technology? What if it's us being able to understand nature because we have more access to our brain power, we have more access to our understandings. We don't age, we don't deteriorate. There's, and it's, everyone goes, oh, the Sumerians King's List, They were they got it wrong. They did the math wrong. Yeah, the Sumerians did math wrong. I'll come back to what the Sumerians did.
And they created math.
Yeah, they created math and they got it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, everyone's like, oh, no, they didn't live that long. But then you've got the Pharaoh's list. Mm-hmm. You've got the Bible.
Yeah.
You've got stuff in throughout the Asian cultures. There is multiple data points, that we used to say, how many coincidi do you need to get before it actually becomes truth, right? How many points of evidence do you need that we were different and we were downgraded? We have, as I sit here and record this, I was whinging because I'm getting older. My back is playing up because I played too much physical contact sport and I'm deteriorating because I'm in my mid-40s. That's the reality. But I shouldn't be deteriorating at 3 or 4, whatever it is. I shouldn't. That my body should be able to be a bit more robust than that, even though I have put it through a few things. Right.
Right. But I think the original humans probably were. And if we were moving these stones with manpower, if we were, and maybe we were bigger, maybe humans were bigger. Maybe humans were giants, That's a thought.
We covered giants in number 1, didn't we? Number 1 or 2, we
did,
talked
or one of them.
Giants.
And the elongated skulls, which would mean there would be more brain capacity and smarter and possibly more.
I've got the notes here. I think it's like 100 cc or something like that. That the brain capacity of the Paracas skulls versus humans. It's not 0.
Right.
It's I've got it here somewhere. Doesn't matter. But yeah, check the last episode. We talked about the Paracas skulls. I mean, here's the other question too. It's how many species were actually on this planet as well?
Yeah. How many different types of humans?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because yes, we, theoretically we are all Homo sapiens sapien. However, if Shaq was standing next to you and me, man, and the aliens came and we said, yeah, he's the same person. He's the same thing, right? Yeah. It's like, how is he the same thing? No, he's not the same thing. Yeah. We're all same, but different. And I wonder, when we talk about genes and genetic modification, I do wonder whether the distinct races on the planet were different experiments.
Yeah. Maybe further down the road, on this series, I got a lot of notes on that, but I think I think it's obvious that something happened. We didn't all just come from one being, but
it's a stretch. I mean, you start digging into, we all came out of Africa and we got different features and colors and, all that, everything else like that, just because of the localized environment that we stayed in. It's like everything else. It's built on a bed of sand. If you just, the guy that I work with he's a German guy, and I haven't met him yet, but he tells me he's 6'7", and I saw him holding a 365 ml can yesterday, and his hand just envelops it. Like, so if I stand next to him, and he's twice my width, and 9 inches taller than me.
Yeah.
Is he the same? Is he a Homo sapiens sapien like I am? I don't know that. What are we talking about here?
Yeah,
because our bone structure is the same.
Yeah.
Is it though? I bet you he's got a harder head than me. It's interesting, right? If you actually, I wonder what the tolerances are. I haven't actually thought about that. I'm having live ideas, as we tend to do on this show. Mm-hmm. But I think when it comes to the genes and the downgrade theory, there's something to that, I think. It's like, did we get too big for our boots? Is that what part of the cataclysm was about? Because that is the story, isn't it? The civilization reaches a point where it ceases to see the divinity within itself and smackdown.
Yeah, there's something that if you want to go into nowadays, they're still doing it. Look what they did with the COVID-19 shot. They're trying to alter the genome again. So it's like, it hasn't stopped really.
No, that's true.
We don't even know what it's doing fully to people, but that's another subject almost. But still, but like
we are trying to manipulate genes as that's true.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing.
In modern day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say we could like access our other parts of our DNA suddenly and could switch on our DNA. We would have to evolve spiritually and physically with it. It couldn't just be, I don't think we would be ready for that. I don't think humans could handle it. I mean,
not humans these days.
No. I mean,
then this is that. Yeah, I think when I think about magic, right? It's a different conversation. However, draw me a dragon if you haven't seen one. Why all dragons look the same? The only animal that's not real on the Chinese
Zodiac
is the dragon, apparently. However, let's pretend for a second that Arthurian legends are real. Merlin had wielded a magical staff, and think about all the stories of magic that come through from times before.
Yeah,
humans would have taken advantage of that, and we probably got it taken away from us. It's like, yeah. You guys turned evil real quick. You're not allowed to have that anymore. I can see that potentially happening. I can see that.
Sure. I mean, if we had the abilities like a Jedi, to be able to like there, and that could be very well be how some of these structures are made in the world. I mean, to let
look, I don't. It's a plausible thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it has to be, because any other no one actually knows.
No. I mean,
we are led to believe, as we like to say on this show.
We are led to
these series. We are led to believe this, and everything that we've said this morning, we are led to believe that is true.
Right.
And
there's so many holes that I don't see how. Well, giants are definitely more of an option than regular people moving these stones, but still, like, I don't know. Maybe I have a flawed look at a version of giants in my head, like just big dumb Neanderthals. Maybe they're like super intelligent too back then, and they could wield.
Well, don't forget, I mean, we're sort of circling around the Sumerians because we got a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Sumerian glyphs is the god carrying the lion, and the humans prostrate at their feet, and they look to be 2-3 times the size in the artwork. And obviously they say that it was a depiction that the gods are that tall. Well, no, it was, but no, so I'm messing it up. It's like, it was just to
show they were important.
To show they were important. What if that's not true? I mean, you talk about giants and stuff. Go back and start looking at doors from thousands of years ago.
Yes, exactly. When I was in Malta for Sacred Site 1, and visiting there anyway, but filming, I went into the museum there, and this is an old building, and I was noticing how high the ceilings were and how large the doorways were. And this is an old building, so I was like, huh. And then you see, I mean, this will probably bleed into eventually when we do some Tartaria work, but these buildings were like, why such high ceilings? What for? What?
Yeah, and why do you need a door that's 5 meters tall?
Yeah.
And then a lot of these giant doors then have like a doggy door, right, for the human. It's like, what do we? Yeah. And look, I'm just asking questions. Like, those that are listening, Google giant doors. Go down that rabbit hole for an hour or two and see what's going on there. There's so many temples and so much stuff across the planet where these doors are giant. Yep. It's like, why would you need to do that?
Yeah.
You're going to waste the material just to make a giant door and a giant ceiling. It's like, why would you do that?
Right. Especially some of these more modern day buildings. I mean, they're not, like the ones in the 1800s or before. Like, they probably wanted to clean the ceiling. Well, they just made their job 10 times harder by making that, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
It's an interesting one. And look, I wonder how many species were on here. And you know, you could go Tolkien with it. You know, the giants, the dwarves, the elves, like, why is that a story that echoes and echoes and echoes through eternity?
Yeah.
You know, and let's not forget that, you know, it is December in 2025. They told us that aliens live in the ocean and no one cares. So, you know, it's
it's a bizarre world we live in now that's sterilized from our apparent history. But they're telling us aliens exist and people, don't care, like, at all. That's weird. I don't get that. Like, I mean,
it's weird.
I don't know. That's another tangent, I guess, but still.
It's not. It is a tangent, and it isn't, because something from outside of theoretically, something from outside of this planet took a hominid on this planet and made us.
Yeah.
And what if they're still here? What if they've been living in the ocean the entire time?
Right. I mean,
that's the ultra terrestrial theory. You know, how many cataclysms would you go through before you figured out that living under the water is safer?
Yeah. Well,
how many? On
my
50
show,
caliber bullet can stop within 30 centimeters if you fire it point blank into water.
Yeah.
How long until you figure out that it's probably safer under the water if you can do it?
If you can do it, yeah. I mean, on my show, my friend Ian, he told me, he's kind of an insider. He's got a lot of knowledge on, you know, his dad was in some kind of deep military, but basically he said to me this analogy that, you know, the isolated island, North Sentinel Island is, you know, they don't know civilized man. Well, he says that we are like North Sentinel Island compared to these elites who live in underground bases and space and places, because they look at us as like the primitive human beings that are just doing their thing, and you know, they're isolated from us. So,
well, we like to think that we're not a slave race still. However, we are.
Oh, completely.
Absolutely. In a lot of ways.
Yep. Well, economic slaves that are stuck to the treadmill. Mm-hmm. You know, I got to go to work tomorrow. Mm-hmm. You got to go to work on probably Monday or whatever. Yeah. If we don't work, then we don't survive. And so, we're in that situation, you know. Yeah.
Do you think there is that separation? Do you think maybe could there be a band of superhumans that do live longer than we do, that have echoes of that DNA? You know, we talking blue blood, or like, I'm just spitballing ideas here. You know, because it's an interesting thing. Obviously, you've got the Rothschilds and all that sort of stuff, and that's the current. You know, the 12 families and all those sorts of things, which is undeniable these days.
Yeah.
However, what sits above them?
Yeah.
You know, I think I said in the, you know, I did say it in the latest State of Flux one episode that we did. It's like we owe $320 trillion to who? The Decepticons? You know, like $320 trillion to.
Yeah. Why not just go back to zero and just have a good life? You know, like there's the Rothschild, all these elite families, they treat us like inhumane. They treat us like we're shit. And
that's right. That's what I mean.
It's they're not human.
They detest us. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Like we're a different species than them. So,
and that's I wonder, like, I wonder whether they think that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or are they? Like, it's, the problem is in 2025, they've muddied the water so much that we wouldn't, as I said, aliens live in the ocean, no one cares. You know, reptilians are real, and they've been, you know, they are our overlords and have been for the last 200, you know, like, if that actually turned out to be true, I wonder how apathetically we would react to that. I don't know. But what if 1% is true?
Yeah.
What if 1% is true?
And I would say more. I would say more than that is true. Given
this is the thing,
the evidence out there, you know, just in how they treat us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know. Well, here's some, I wanted to share this real quick. Kind of goes in it. The Popol Vuh, which is the Mayan creation story. It says this. It says, the gods said about their first creation, our first creatures would not praise and venerate us. Let us try to make beings, obedient, respectful beings who nourish and sustain us. There's a lot in there if you really take it apart. Nourish and sustain us. Like, so are they feeding off our energy?
Well, this is it's a soul trap. This is the other one of those other theories that pervades it. The planet is a soul trap. And, you listen to some of the weird stuff Bob Lazar said. It's like they want our souls. They want our energy, our source energy.
Yeah. 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 Like, I mean, it seems like they tell us that in movies like The Matrix, the battery energy.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Popol Vuh, it says that humans.
So it's just say it again. So they didn't serve and venerate us. The first ones. Our
first creatures would not praise and venerate us. Let us try to make beings, obedient, respectful beings who nourish and sustain us. Listen how they say us, the gods.
Us. Yeah, gods. Yeah.
Let us try to make beings and obedient. And so the first people were destroyed because they weren't, I think they were destroyed in the flood. Yeah, they were like the stick people or something. I can't remember offhand because I have read the Popol Vuh, but it's very hard to remember all this stuff offhand. But the first people were destroyed because they did not.
They didn't serve and they didn't worship us in the way that we thought. I mean, religion is a big part of this, and we've got that down the list as far as the things we want to talk about. Because what is with that? Why do we need a space daddy? What there's something, like that's built in. It's built in that we need a space daddy, and I don't understand that. I'm not one of those that understands that. I respect that there is source and sacred masculine and feminine energies of the universe and balance and all those sorts of things, dark and evil, the force, right? I'm on board with all that. And, me and God are okay. However, I don't need to bend the knee to some deity. However, it's an inbuilt thing within the human to do that we will never be as good as whoever. Take your pick, right?
Right.
And it's interesting. It's interesting. And I think before I wanted to just go through, got a couple of things here that I want to talk about as far as genes and stuff are concerned. A couple of notes. You talked about junk DNA.
Yeah.
And junk DNA is a bit of an old term now because they realise that it's not junk DNA, it's just not activated DNA. It's not actually doing anything.
It's non-coding.
It's non-coding. It doesn't mean that it's not junk. It just means that it's not switched on.
Yeah.
I think, the one that I thought about too before we keep going about genes and DNA is that the medical symbol for time immemorial has been the staff with the interwinding snakes.
Yeah.
That's DNA.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
How did they know that? How do they know that? Like that is the symbol for medicine across cultures, across the planet for thousands and thousands, just for time immemorial. And I think that's another one of those ones where you dig into it. It's like, who created the medical symbol with the snakes? And everyone's like, mate, that we don't know. It's just always been the symbol for medical.
I mean, I think I said on the last show that I have it in my notes somewhere, that the study of DNA is only not that old. Like, I think
it's like 60 years old. Yeah.
Molecular biology is started in the 1950s, and then the human genome was only mapped in the 80s. So we're looking at pretty new science, but these people knew it way back. They knew. Yeah,
it's like only 40 years ago we were mapping the genome.
Yeah,
this is the reality.
Yeah.
We're mapping a DNA sequence. It's not like, and it's the hubris behind, we know. We've been studying for 30 seconds. I'm sure we know everything. Yeah. The hubris that we can say that we know when we've been studying something we only identified within our lifetime. It's not. But I wanted to talk about, because one of the breakthroughs with the study of DNA was the storage capacity of DNA. You can store terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data on DNA.
Yeah.
And that leads me into DNA memory, genetic echo, and genetic memory. It's like I think we spoke about this in one of the episodes we've done. We've done so many now, it's hard to remember everything we've said.
Exactly.
However, why do we search this mystery, Leumas? We're obsessed. It doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter, given the thing is that we are very lucky on one hand, Leumas, given the resources, we could retire from our three-dimensional jobs and we have the thing that we're going to dedicate the rest of our lives to right now.
Yeah.
Given the resources, we know. It's not a question.
Is this not the biggest truth in the world, to know who we are, where we came from? I mean, it's like this is huge. Like, this is like, what is the biggest secret out there to find out? Well, kind of like, it's funny how technologically advanced we are, but we don't even know our origins on this planet.
Mm-hmm. We don't.
They think they do.
We don't know what makes us. Yeah, we don't know our true origins. We don't, and we don't honor the things that the ancients told us to honor. We don't look at ourselves the way the ancients told us to look at ourselves. And, why? But the question is, and I've thought a lot about this, particularly with me and you, right? Because we have little indie podcasts that aren't the top 50, yet we dedicate our lives to this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we both just doing it because we have to. And so why? I think it's a DNA memory or a genetic echo. I think we are echoes, or we have DNA memory of being, guardians of the stones, or we were, whatever it is. We had this knowledge in a prior life. We understood what we're trying to understand in a prior existence.
Yeah.
Now, whether that be through our family lineage, which we could talk about genetic echoes and genetic memory potentially. Like, I know, my father's side goes back to Druidic stuff in Europe. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is that where I get it from? Because somewhere in my line, the Druids that looked after the standing stones and the ancient symbols and, maybe had magic and all this sort of stuff. Is that the reason? Or is it deeper than that? Is it our energy, our genetic energy, our source energy echoes from before the cataclysm? You talked about, we've said a few times, it's like they made a slave race.
Yeah.
However, they wouldn't have, as you just said, the first ones didn't respect us, or they didn't obedient. They weren't obedient.
They didn't venerate them.
They didn't venerate
the gods.
I don't know about you, mate. We're not real good at veneration, and
no, I'm pretty anti all that. So
that's right. Yeah. What's the line? It's like, you just have to kneel. Well, no.
My name's not Neil.
Yeah, my name's not Neil.
Yeah.
And you can fuck off.
Mm-hmm. You can just fuck the hell off.
That's right.
Though, here's something that I kind of give to this research, and why I'm so interested in it, and it maybe is true for you as well. I don't know if I'd be the same person if I hadn't taken psychedelics. And sometimes you need strong medicine to deprogram from this reality that we've been. Yeah. And now that I've been through all that, you as well, then you kind of realize like what's important and what's not. Like going to work every day and making money, you realize that's just nothing compared to the vastness of the universe and all these intriguing mysteries. So I don't know whether it's genetic, but it could be a genetic echo. I think, like, honestly, a lot of people probably think I'm crazy, like with my spare time going to try to find megaliths and pyramids and stuff. But like, it's fucking fascinating. And there's no rush like it, because it's digging up and rewriting history. And it's like, I don't know. But anyway,
it was quite clear we've been lied to as well. Like, this is the thing. It's with every turn of the spade, we change history. But I think there's a purity to it as well. I think because like us, myself, yourself, Zach, like the guys that are involved with Sacred Site and the crews that we have behind us, because it's not just us, there's a bunch of awesome people that support us and allow us to do what we do. However, because it's pure of heart, there's a pure energy about it. We're just explorers. We're just trying to unlock the code. We're just trying to seek the truth. We're just trying to see what was before. Because, the line in Sacred Site 1 is there's answers in the past that can help us in the present that will affect our future. But I just feel, because look, your show's been going longer than mine. I'm sure you've had times where you put it down and pick it up and put it down and pick it up, and it gets too much to do and da-da-da-da-da. Does the research ever stop?
No. I can't not research or think outside of the normal norm. Mm-hmm. I just can't not do that. It's just, I have to do this. It's weird. Yeah.
It is strange. It is strange. And it leads me to think about genetic echoes and genetic memory. I think, because, and you would have seen this as well, why I think it's a DNA memory or a genetic memory is, you've tried to tell people about our research. I've tried to tell some people about our research. And there's three things that'll happen. Number one, someone will be very interested. And they go, oh, yeah, no, I look that stuff too. And then you have a discussion. Everything's cool.
Yeah.
Number two, Agent Smith from The Matrix pops out.
Yeah.
And when I heard that analogy, it's like, that is so true. Nope, science says that you're wrong. And that's it. That's what science says. So that's it. That's it. Don't want to.
Yeah.
And the third one is, as people go like blank, man, they're like, it's like they blank out, or they don't hear you. They can't understand the words that you're saying. And it's a strange thing to observe. I've had it happen a few times. And so why can't you hear what I'm saying? Maybe they can't. You ever think of that? Like, maybe they can't.
Yeah.
Is that you? Is that your car?
No, just somebody out there. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they can't hear it. Maybe there is different versions of humans.
I think so. Different versions of consciousness.
Yeah, different versions of consciousness. Did you know that 40% of people don't, apparently, we are led to believe, as we like to say,
right? Yeah,
don't have a voice in their head?
I've heard that, and I just can't even imagine that.
Well, what? I've got a cacophony. It's not just one in there.
Yeah.
There's a few rabbits there's a few kangaroos bounced around that top paddock. But if you wanted to make an obedient person, take their critical thinking away.
Right. And maybe they haven't taken psychedelics and broken down some of that conditioning or something. I don't know, maybe.
Well, look, and the thing is taking psychedelics and being critical and all the things, does that rewrite your DNA? That'd be interesting. I don't know whether we could ever prove that. It's like, do you take a normie, you take a sheep and give them 5 grams of blue meanies and then talk to them later? Like, I don't know. It could be that we're unlocking the code within ourselves.
It could be, because like, there's Terence McKenna had it in his book. I think maybe I've said this before, but maybe not with you. I can't remember. But he has a book about the forbidden fruit in the Bible. He thinks it was mushrooms.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, so could it have been that, maybe we won't say Adam and Eve, because I think the Sumerian texts kind of tell us some more about that. Adapa or whoever, they realized they were naked. They realized there's something that they weren't allowed to eat that fruit. Why was that? And maybe they realized they were slaves. Maybe they realized they were a creation of these gods with a little g or something. Something happened that their consciousness expanded about themselves.
Yeah, and I think there's the stoned ape theory is interesting. There's also that the mushroom relates to Christianity as well, that the Christianity is actually a mushroom-based religion. There's that the sacred sign on the cross. I can't remember. Anyway, there's a book about that and the thing is, if you like the Amanita muscaria, the red white mushroom, is represented in all these weird paintings. Like if you start looking into that stuff, and also they've, some of the, I don't know whether it was Sumerian, but there was an ancient like wine vessel, and it was wine and mushrooms. It was psychedelic mushrooms that had psilocybin in them that they had with their wine. And like there's the rituals that you think you hear about. When you ritualize, you must take of the sacrament. Now, obviously, in modern time, it's a bit more cannibalistic. However, the sacrament may have been psychedelics in a lot of ancient religions to wake you up, to wake you what's really going on. And yeah, look, I've always been a bit of a weirdo for sure.
Same here.
However, I can definitely say without DMT, I wouldn't be here today. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely say that the biggest thing that helped me deal with my depression and my anxieties and all that sort of stuff. Well,
oh, that was weird. You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay.
That was weird. It stopped for a second.
I thought the whole thing was gone. Oh.
Yeah, you dropped out and came back. I don't know what happened.
I don't know either. I have no idea. They didn't like that. Jeez.
They didn't like that, man. We keep... So judging from what just happened, everyone takes psychedelics.
Everybody on what if everybody on planet Earth took psychedelics all at once? That would be an incredible change, transformation.
It'd be unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. That's exactly what they don't want.
It'd be unbelievable. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we can't do that. Yeah, look, I just wanted to talk about that genetic echo, that genetic memory, because I think there's something in that, because of the things that you and I do, and then there's certain other people that we know are very similar. It's like we have to do it. It's not a question. So why? Is it a genetic echo? Is it a genetic memory of something that we knew before that we're chasing? And I do. But the other thing I was going to say about that is that because what we're doing is pure, we're finding strange stuff, Leumas, aren't we? It's like we go out and we find stuff.
Mm-hmm. We have a sacred site. We have a site that we're seeing that other people are not. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. We have a sacred site. That is interesting. Yeah.
We can see through the bullshit for one thing, but we can see, we can see that, like we can go out into a place and go, hey, that doesn't quite look right. Is that mountain a pyramid, or is that what kind of rock? What is that, a rock wall? I don't know. We can see that too, but it's just, it's interesting. We can see that there's more. We can see that there's something missing from our story, huge chunks that we need to know.
And that's why I like Sacred Site, because it's so multifaceted. We have the sacred site to see the sacred sites.
Right. Yeah.
Unless you can be sacred, you won't be able to have the sight to see the sacred sites. You must treat them with a sacred understanding. We could just go round and round and round. Yeah. So did you have anything else on genes or DNA or any of that sort of stuff? We've sort of taken a few left turns and roundabouts there.
We did. Yeah. Obviously, I think we're good. I'm good on my end. I think I've kind of pointed out the second chromosome is an anomaly, but we could move on if you want to go to the Sumerian Kings list or.
I wanted to stop. The last thing I wanted to talk about was obviously the telomere cap, right? So it's been proven now that we are aged out. They've seen it under the microscope that our aging stops at 130, but it's actually like it's been singed, like it's been capped. Someone has put a cap on it. So it's undeniable that genetic modification did happen. Yeah. And, so that got me thinking, the Pharaoh's list, the Sumerian Kings list, the Bible, the Asian, the Buddhists, Buddha and his friends were old. Like if you go through the gods, as we say, little g with an S, live to be older. And in modern times, like, oh no, they were just having a joke, They weren't real serious about it. They were serious about everything else apart from that. That, again, the hubris to go, nah, that's not right. Sorry.
Just to cut it off. Like, oh, this is true. That's not true.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Up to this point is true. And after that, they obviously don't know what they're talking about. The hubris to pretend that is real. And we started having a discussion before we turned the mics on as far as ages are concerned. And I wonder, with some of this stuff that we're looking into, trying to find these older, more esoteric type things that are different again, how many different civilizations and how many different incarnations of civilizations are we actually looking at? Because it's like, if you were to, so let's take the Sumerian kings list, the first guy apparently lived for 28,800 years.
Yeah. Or was it 40,000?
You're the first guy, Elohim. Elohim. He lived for 28,800. The second guy, Alal Nagar, lived for 36,000.
Jeez.
And then Men Ana lived for 43,200. 432. There's an interesting thing there. Do you know what I just saw? Sacred numbers. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 8 is 18, is 9. 3 6 is 9, 4 3 2 is 9, 2 8 8 is 9, 3 6 is 9. Anyway, if we understood what did Tesla say? If we understood 3 6 and 9, we could govern the universe. That's what Tesla said.
Triples. The triptych.
So, and then so it goes down. So this is the first, after the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. In Eridu, Elohim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Is that prior to the cataclysm? Is that, because if you, just a minute, so 28 and 36, what's that? That's the best part of 64, 43, we're at 108, 140, 180, 210. Look, the best part of 250,000 years for the first ruling.
The eight kings. 241,200 years.
Yeah.
That's what I have.
The 8 kings, 241,200 years. Then the flood swept over.
Exactly. Yeah. I thought maybe that these could have been factions or families or clans rather than just one individual.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying it's some super old dude. I'm just looking at it from that perspective,
But however, we have which we'll get into, so many other ancient texts that talk about long living humans too. So, it's not like that's weird or something that just the Sumerian tablets say that. So, yeah.
But the thing is, so the kingship was in Kish. Where's Kish as opposed to Eridu? We haven't looked in Kish.
I don't know.
So Kish. the first 240,000 years, excavations in Iraq revealed evidence of localized flooding at Shurupak, modern Tel Farah, Iraq, and various other Sumerian cities. A layer of riverine sediments, radiocarbon, dates circa 2900 BC, interrupts the continuity of the settlement, extending as far north as the city of Kish. Polychrome pottery from the Jebdet Nazar period, so they're talking 3000 BC, so 5,000 years ago, was discovered immediately below the flood stratum. So they've got evidence of a flood there 3,000 years ago. However, after the flood had swept over, the kingship had descended, and the kingship had descended from heaven. The kingship was in Kish. So don't forget, with the Sumerians, that one of the tablets says that they knew the cataclysm was coming, and that it was so bad that they fled the planet.
Yep, they did.
Now after the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridu. Then the flood swept over. After the flood had swept over, the kingship had descended from heaven. The kingship was in Kish. So they left, let the flood happen, and then they came back again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, were the humans here the whole time, and it was only the gods that ascended to heaven to redo, to come back? You know, because it's...
Well, it was supposedly this Noah figure was the survivor, you know, and that goes through so many different cultures. This guy, different names.
Survivor,
and I know it's
different names. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I know in the Vedic text it's Manu. It's, Utnapishtim in one of them. It's
Utnapishtim, Noah,
Zeusudra,
Zeusudra. What's the guy? Atrahasis.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in South America.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? Yeah, you know. Anyway, it echoes and echoes and echoes. After the flood, there is a survivor. They came back. Okay, and then so you got the first dynasty of Kish. Just run through 1200, 960, 670, 420, 300, 840, 960. These are all years, by the way, different kingdoms, different rulers. 840, 900, 600, 840, 720, 1500. The shepherd who ascended to heaven and consolidated all of the foreign countries, Etana, ruled for 1500 years.
Mm-hmm. This is before flood, right?
This is after the flood.
Oh, after the flood. Yeah, this is when the lifespans were smaller.
Yeah, smaller, but not still, you know, they're still in the hundreds of years. Mm-hmm. So you had Atab, who was 600 years, then the son of Atab, who did 840, who was Mashta, then the son of Mashta, who did 720, so there's over 2,000 years right there. And then Etana, the shepherd who ascended to heaven and consolidated all the foreign countries, ruled for 1,500 years. And then there was the son of Etana, Bala, he was for 400 years. So there's a couple of like familial dynasties that we can see, but we're still talking thousands of years each. And this takes them, you know, they're saying down the bottom here, it's like, oh, this was in 2600 BC. Well, no, it wasn't. If these years were real, that's another 10,000 plus years. Mm-hmm. What are we actually talking about here? Let's pretend for a second that maybe this is true.
Yeah. You know, there's the thing that I learned about these tablets is the Sumerian Kings List is that no two tablets are exactly alike, but they share enough details to show they came from one original master list. So but they're not all exactly alike, but I think they all pretty much add up to the same. There was 8 kings, and that actually dovetails with the Bible, 8 generations before the flood in the Bible.
Yeah.
So there's, you know, that's
because they stole the story from the Sumerians.
Exactly.
I think but it's not necessarily they stole the story from the Sumerians. I had an interesting chat with a student Indian lady. It's quite fascinating. Like it's a bit of a test having the Eye of Horus behind me. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people don't notice it, but it's like a bit of a test. Oh, what's that? Is that the Eye of Horus behind you? And that generally kicks off a conversation, right? And she was saying that looking at the Indian god set, so like, you know, the elephant god and all those sorts of, I can't remember the names of them now. However, she did a cross-reference to the Nordic gods, and they're the same.
Yeah.
So the god set is all the same. Nordic, Greek, Roman, Trojan, Indian, Asian, like it's the same story.
Yeah.
To me, the craziest thing about religion is that we're killing each other over the same story. That's the craziest thing to me. It's like we're arguing over interpretation of the same story.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
Is so ridiculous. Mm-hmm. The problem with the Sumerian Kings list, the problem with the Pharaohs list, and the problem with the biblical stuff is that modern scholars and historians just walk over it. They don't even entertain it to be anywhere near true. So there isn't a lot of evidence apart from what Leumas just said, that there is no tablets that are the same. But then think about this for a second. It was done from a master list.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And these master lists are also, or not just lists, these texts, these clay tablets were all based on master lists, and like they've been passed down. And even those cylinder seals, they made them so they could reproduce their history on clay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
incredible.
And just so we can get an idea, because I don't think people understand this, this is what the Sumerians are credited with. The first cities in a grid layout.
Yep.
And they actually used to, their cities would get to like 70,000, and then they'd move a section of people to a different suburb to create a new city so it didn't get overwhelmed. They had wide streets to make sure they could have refuse, like they had sewerage. Basically, they created the first cities. They had fired kiln bricks with clay and reed, and it said that some of their buildings were over 100 feet tall or 30 plus meters tall, making kiln-fired bricks, which are still there today, perfectly fine. The first coins, the first metallurgy, durable pottery, schools, pharmacopoeia, a farmer's almanac, so you could actually learn when to plant and when not to plant. Cosmogony. I knew I was going to mess it up. Cosmology. Yeah, that'll do. Law codes, social reforms, libraries. They had naphtha, which is basically a thing that you use to fire kilns and stuff that's made out of bitumen. It's like the tar, naphtha. It's like that. So that's what they used to trade. This is out of Eridu. Naphtha was there, and because they could keep their kilns fired for so long because they had naphtha, they are credited with creating the Bronze Age. We still have the 60-second minute and the 60-minute hour and the 360-degree circle, because that is the most efficient way that math can be done. Every minute that you live is a creation that the Sumerians actually are credited with.
Yeah.
And it just appeared too, as there's no ramp up and the Sumerians get awesome. It's no bang, they're here.
Out of nowhere with all the firsts.
With all the firsts. Out of nowhere, they built a city. They had schools, they had laws, they had social reform, they had codes, they had sewerage, they had just bang, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And they are credited with all the firsts. Now, I did think that maybe, like with the stuff that's coming out of South America and all those sorts of things, they may not be the firsts, However, that's what they're credited with at this stage.
Yeah.
I think it's more to the point, there's no ramp up. There's no, this is when the Sumerians were in loincloths. This is when they created shoes. This is when they did this. No, they bang. That's it. That's the first city. It's still standing today. And because it's when we did the Eridu story, it's like, why is there not massive archaeological digs at the very first city?
I know. Shouldn't it be preserved to its utmost and they just going down and down and deeper? I mean, you mentioned Cherupec, and that's an interesting story because they found a civilization and pottery and stuff, and then they went down further and they found another one. And then they went down 30 feet of sediment and stuff, and no one thought there would be anything further. But then they found the real one. And that sediment layer, that's all the flood. So that's the flood. Yeah. I know there could be more than one flood, but that one in that area anyway. And wow, it's, so the Eridu must go down further. Yeah, it's crazy that people just it's just left in the desert.
I don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it also goes along with the treatment of, in the wars they've had in those areas where the soldiers steal the stuff from the museums, raid the museums, and even ISIS broke a lot of the
a lot of the Sumerian and Babylonian stuff. Yeah, they purposely destroyed it. Yeah. Well, because it goes against the same story that it was, and this is what I don't understand. It's like you're literally smashing the thing that helped create the book, that created the story. It's all the same. Mm-hmm. It's the Egyptian story. It's you could say the Sumerians influenced the Egyptians, or why is there not a permanent archaeological crew at Eridu 24/7, 365?
I know.
Learning about the very first city. Why? That's sus to me. You know, like it smells. It's like, oh, we can't keep digging.
They're not interested in, well, the outward world that we know of is not interested in finding our deep history. I think that shows that whoever's running this world doesn't want us to know. That's,
well, you know, you can't leave the butchered faces on all the stuff throughout Africa and Iraq and all that sort of stuff, that they've all had their faces scratched off, particularly their noses, which I find strange. It's like, is the nose going to identify them as a certain race, potentially? And that's the reason they scratched it off? I don't know. However, yeah, the Sumerians literally appear out of nowhere with a city ready to go.
Yep.
And agriculture, like the list just goes on.
They could do cataract surgery. They could do cataract surgery.
Yeah. Medicine, pharmacology, like just keep going down the list. Yeah. And it's, again, the deeper you dig at the walls of Eridu, what are you going to find? What is actually there? And again, let's not forget the Sumerian kings list.
Yeah.
Like, after the flood had swept over and the kingship had descended from heaven, the kingship was in Kish. Then Kish was defeated and the kingship was taken to Eanna. And that's sort of basically after the kingship of Eanna, apart from a few 360, 290, 180, like there's still some long reigns there. However, it sort of comes down a bit more after that. Mm-hmm.
Well, could these, I mean, if these earliest writings are real, which why wouldn't they be? Why make them fantasy? I mean, there's that side of things where people are like, hey, well, it could just be the mythology in their day. And if someone from the distant future was looking at our world, they might think Luke Skywalker was a real person or whatever, but the difference is back then, barely anybody wrote, at least so we're led to believe. And it wouldn't it be extremely important to write something down, not just go, I just want to make up a story. I don't think so. People wrote what was most important.
They saw it, they wrote it, they understood it. And again, how is it we're basing our time, our decimal, our time, the way we look at time, the way we look at circles, the way we look at geometry. And that's another, it'd be years ago now. However, there was a tablet that some guys from Melbourne, it was a Sumerian tablet that actually had a better way to deal with trigonometry and geometry than the Greeks did. Yeah. It was a much more effective way and efficient way of doing it. It was like, I think it was, and this is, we are led to believe, over 2,000 years before the Greeks did it. Yeah. So it's like, how do we think about it so that we can take all that stuff as gospel, but the King's List is just a fanciful story? Yeah.
Just ignore that one. They don't know what they're talking about. That's, yeah.
But I suppose the question is that where are they? If these were the kings of Sumeria, then there's the discussion. They basically say, well, maybe they've got their own problems on their own planet and all that sort of stuff, like maybe which could be true, or wherever it is they're from. Or maybe the cataclysm that happened 12,800 years ago was so extreme that they did flee the planet. Like it's I don't know. I
don't know either. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that, like Gilgamesh, for example, he was half man, half god. So could these be demigods? Could these be people that ruled for a really long time because their lifespans were long? They were half god, half man. They didn't have tinkering like we did. And did they decide to leave the world to their offspring that were related? I mean, that's kind of the common theory out there, that they left.
That's the story, but that is the story too. Yeah. It's like, or we overran them as well. Like, this is the thing. Did we out we outfuck them or something. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
But
there's still that right to rule attitude out there in the world, that these families who run our world today have this right to rule. You know, where's the origin of that? You know?
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's we've got that here in Australia. It's like, yes, we are a country of convicts, but we're also a country of the jailers as well. And the jailers still think that they're in charge. Yeah. And that's the elite of Australia. Like, that's the politics of Australia. They just don't care. Doesn't matter what we say. They just do whatever they want because they are the descendants of that. But there is that as well, isn't there? There's the religion. There's the need to obey. There's the... You know, you come back to the genetic modification. There's so many things that we do that if you had to explain to an alien, it's like, we're humans and we got these people and they're just the same as us, but we do whatever they say.
Yeah. Huh? Yeah. That group of people over there, they get to rule us just because they're that group of people over there. What? Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm. Yeah. You know, there's so many different things that don't make any sense.
No.
That do seem to be imprinted within us. And yeah, it's interesting one, man. I knew about the Sumerians. You know, Sumerians is one of those ones that's one of your beginner things you read about the Sumerians, but I forgot how many firsts they actually are credited with.
Yeah.
They are basically the first at everything.
Right. Out of nowhere.
And global, and like, you know, not global, I'm not going to say global, but major trade networks, ships, logistics, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, theoretically, did they have the wheel?
I think they did, didn't they? Yeah. They created the wheel.
Yeah, they must have done. They must have done. I think they did the wheel as well.
Yeah.
It's like everything that we have, and even if you think about it today, we are still echoing the Sumerian civilization today. And again, every minute of your life, give thanks to, was it Adamu? Because 60 seconds is from the Sumerian timeline. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
It's craziness. You know, and that's just one civilization as well.
Right.
You know, I for some reason I wonder about Carthage, because the Carthaginians were supposedly as good as Rome, as technologically advanced as Rome, and they fought Rome for the best part of 200 years. And then the Romans finally got over them and they salted the earth so Carthage would never rise again.
Yeah.
But if there's an independent civilization that was on the same technological, you know, bandwidth as Rome, while Rome was expanding, who were they? And how many versions of that? You know, you've got the, and you go back to the pharaohs list and the history of Egypt through the dynasties. There's the warriors from the ocean. You know, these dudes just come out like they sound like Vikings, to be perfectly honest, is what they sound like.
Mm-hmm.
They come out of the ocean, they're big, they're strong, they mess stuff up, and then they sail away again. And then they might come back next year, or they, you know, and it was like after 5 or 6 wars with these people, the Egyptians finally pushed them away. Who were they? Where did they come from? Like, how many different versions of civilization, when you start digging into this stuff and you start digging into the different continents and cultures and the ages, what are we actually talking about?
Well, the Sumerians were supposedly taken over by the Akkadians. Who were the Akkadians? I mean, where did they, like, why were they different than the Sumerians, you know? Different tribe?
And yeah, if the Sumerians were the most technologically advanced and they were taken by the Akkadians, how did the Akkadians get that level of, you know, like...
Right, and then the Assyrians, and then the Babylonians, and then, you know, It just goes on, so...
On and on and on and on and on, yeah. Huh. And it's, you know, these are all humans, but we're supposed to squeeze all of this into 5,000 years or something, isn't it? Like 6,000 years?
Yeah, yeah.
This is all happened post-cataclysm.
Right.
I don't know that it did. I don't think that that's true.
I don't think that that's true if we look at our last 2,000 years from the Jesus days. Like, not that much changed except till we get to 1900, and then all of a sudden we're in cars and high tech. But, you know, like, not as much. Here's a question.
We're talking about genetic modification.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe we were given a leg up as far as technology is concerned?
Yeah, I kind of think that...
Do you think maybe in the 1800s we might have found a UFO somewhere in Samaria, or you know what I mean? Like we found something.
I wonder why this all of a sudden it ramped up rather than just real slow. I mean, if I look at my great grandmother's life, she was born in 1900. She's not alive now, but she was born in 1900, saw people in their first cars, basically saw movies, saw TV, saw technology, just everything, man in flight, and died in 2007. So she's lived 107. What a life. Like of all the life. So, you think like, wow, that's just one lifetime saw that happen.
In her lifetime, she went, the main mode of transport was horseback when she was born. Mm-hmm. And in 2007, she could take a jet across the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that. But it's even crazier than that because it's really only like 50 or 100 years because, as I've said a few times on the show, in 1957, you could order a Cadillac Eldorado with cruise control, air conditioning, self-leveling suspension, electric seats, heater, fairly interesting, good stereo, primitive form of GPS, tinted windows. Like technology really stopped in the 60s as well. Like we're still operating off internal combustion, fuel injection, and jet engines. So it's it's actually the window's even shorter. It's like
yeah, it's crazy.
We could almost even argue the window's even shorter. So it's the period of World War II, really, for jets at least.
Yeah, I mean, well, post World War II is quite a different world for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then
and the history is written by the victor,
right? But then the internet, and then everybody with these phones and all that, that's just that's within our lifetime. We've seen that.
Oh, within our lifetime, it's pretty crazy. Like, I was talking to Angus. Like, I remember when I was in primary school, I had a pen pal in Japan. We used to write letters to them.
Right.
Yeah. There was like a sister primary school in Japan that they would write letters to us and we would write letters to them and we'd send them stuff from Victoria and they'd send stuff from Japan. And
yeah. It's just boom, happened like that. So how many of those have happened, but I mean, that's a question that could go on and on.
On and on and on. Yeah. I suppose these series that we're doing, it does have more questions than answers.
Sure.
I mean, what are you up to, mate? Do you want to call it there for this episode, or we're about an hour or so in, or?
We'll get a little. Let's go about maybe 20 more minutes, 25, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, all right, that's fine, man.
So I got some stuff on just more long lifespans that I collected.
Keep going.
Yeah, Vedic gods lived specifically longer than humans. They had a value in cosmic units, which is interesting. So we're talking about like
cosmic units.
We're talking about like the people from the Indus Valley. That really old civilization. And then Chinese, many gods are associated with longevity, such as Shu King, who is specifically revered as the god of longevity. Japan.
When did they live? Japan, yeah.
Yeah, same
the Japanese
thing.
One, yeah.
Yep. The god of, I don't know how to use Urulin, the god of longevity, and often depicted as having extraordinary long lifespan, sometimes believed to live for centuries or even longer. So there you got your Sumerian gods, kings, Yeah. And they often, and here's the thing, these gods or whatever these people were, they often ascended and descended into the heavens back and forth. So they're
right.
Coming and
that's the other common story. It's like, I just going away from it and I'll come back.
Yeah.
Or they go, when the cataclysm comes, they go and then they come back. That's the same story over and over again. Yeah.
Yep. And they're often described as beautiful. And many required sacrifice. They had their own quarters and spaces where they resided versus, the humans couldn't go there. That was not for them. And they were often said as the builders of these ancient sites too. But I mean, that's hard to do. Because
well, it's the builder culture. They are. Yeah. This is whoever these beings are. That's who did this impossible stuff.
Right. You asked the Incas who built that. Oh, the gods built it.
The gods did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they apart. Before Sahi was, the Egyptians would say the same thing.
Yeah.
The gods did it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, who built that? The gods did it. Why do you do that? We're trying to be like the gods. This is that's the thing. It's people don't understand how much it echoes and echoes and echoes.
Yeah.
It just is the same story all over. And it doesn't take that much digging to actually see it at all.
No, it doesn't. So I hate when people get all offended. Like, it's the woke culture out there now that's saying this, like, you're trying to tell me that you're trying to divorce the works of the ancients, like the indigenous. Like, no, but they said the gods built it, so we're not.
Yeah, that's not. No one's taking anything away from anybody.
Right.
Team human. Like, you're white supremacist. No, that's just your knee-jerk reaction to something that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
We're not saying it was us. We're saying it was someone else. We don't know. They could have been, they could have been pink with purple polka dots, mate. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we actually know? We don't. However, these people tell us the story. The gods did it. Yep. This is the reason we did that. And there's common themes across every continent, across every culture, and one of them is long life.
Yep. Absolutely.
The other one is giants too. Actually, we want to talk about that. There's always an echo through a culture of tall beings.
Yeah, I mean, look at Gilgamesh. The Gilgamesh is holding a full-grown lion, and it's like,
and then and their prostate. The humans are prostate underneath them.
Yeah,
and it's he's holding a full-grown lion like it's a cat.
Yeah, like it's your pet cat. Yeah, yeah, I know.
And there's more of the pictures like that as well, in different cultures and stuff, where it's these beings holding the animals in the crook of their arm. Like that's not. There's stuff that in India, so some of the carvings in India are unbelievable. All throughout the subcontinent, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, there's crazy megalith laser cut stuff that they don't know how old it is.
Yeah,
we don't know. However, one of the common threads is that they can live longer lives. There was an age component.
Yeah. You know how you were saying laser light cut? I think I said this before, but when I went to the British Museum and saw some of my first Sumerian tablets, they're tiny. They're not like things you think. They're like this big, and they're just printed in there, like machined in there almost.
They're not big, are they? Though
no.
They just fit. I didn't. Yeah, you've got to decide, because we have a problem shutting up enough as it is. So it's like, how deep do you dig with some of this stuff? But I wondered where the Sumerian tablets were actually found. Were they found at Eridu, or were they found somewhere else? I can't remember where the bulk of the tablets were found.
The Library of Ashurbanipal was the.
That's it.
And that, I'm not sure if it was Uruk or what is it?
Uruk,
yeah.
Yeah, so
sure.
Uruk, so you've got the dynasty of Kish, the dynasty of Akkad, the fourth dynasty of Uruk. Yeah, that's the.
Let's see. Let me look that up really. Where was
the army of Gutium was defeated and the kingship taken to Unug or Uruk. Then Unug was defeated, and the kingship was taken to Urim or to
yeah. I'm looking here, just the Library of Ashurbanipal, part of the Assyrian Empire. Trying to figure out where it was actually found, but
that's okay.
It doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway,
doesn't matter.
Small fact that. Well, here. So I just talking about for just a second for genes. I believe there's something in us that they're trying to suppress. I think they're trying to suppress us. They don't want us to eat. Well, we have foods that bring us down, fluoride, vaccines, all that in modern day stuff. But they're afraid of what we might do if we were activated on a higher level. I feel like they're always trying to suppress us, even nowadays. So what is it they're afraid of? Maybe these Anunnakis or whoever they were probably didn't plan for the evolution of our genome and our intelligence. I don't know if that was in their picture, because I feel like they want us to always be dumber than them.
Yeah, definitely. I think. Well, look, I've said this. I remember 2019 as like a golden time, man. Like I remember 2019 it was such a good year. Like everything was looking so positive. There was a good vibe around everywhere. Everyone was cool. You know what I mean? Like I remember the end of 2019 being really keen about what was coming and excited, and I was looking forward to 2020 in a massive way. I had so many things I wanted to do. I just remember that, and there was a global. I feel like because every time I've said that to someone, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. 2019 was awesome." I was looking forward to the thing. There was we were on the precipice, Leumas, of collectively being better, and we got smacked down. To me, there's no question of that.
Yeah. It's almost like 2019 is suddenly the good old days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nothing's the same. Nothing will ever be the same. We're just pretending that everything's okay.
Yeah. I know. It's crazy. Well, So
stop me if I'm wrong. So that's every major continent with old people on it? Older people? Every major continent? So it's Asia.
Africa, I could have looked. I probably could have looked. Yeah, I could have looked further. But like, if you think about the oldest civilizations, I just looked into Indus Valley, the Chinese, and of course we got Zep Tepi. We didn't talk about that, but that's the Egyptian list.
The Pharaoh's list. Yeah.
Pharaoh's
list. They say half of it. They use half of it as gospel, and the rest is bullshit.
Yeah, they were just pretending. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a lie, man. They don't really believe that.
They lied about so much stuff. Yeah. And that's what they're saying basically. And then the Bible, the Bible still says it, the lifespans weren't as incredibly long as Sumerians, but you still had people living to like 900 years,
Yeah, I'm proud of those. I thought Noah was like 800-900, wasn't he?
Yeah. And if you think about him, I was going to say this earlier. He's like the bridge from the old days to the new. He's the bridge that went from the pre-flood days to the modern times forward. And he lived a long time. So what was he versus his children, who I don't think had long lifespans? I don't think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not one that I'm familiar with.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know. I don't think it says. I think I would.
No.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It's like we can talk at length about the Sumerians. There's a lot of stuff there about that. However, the King's List in general, there's not much to it. And there's not much to the Pharaoh's List. There's not much to the ages of the people in the Bible, because they've ignored it because it doesn't suit their narrative.
Right.
That's like they'll take that sentence out and everything else above it and below it. Yeah, that's great. That's perfect. Excellent. But no, I didn't live to be 800. You're dreaming.
Yeah, well, they don't ever consider it. So the science hasn't gone there to investigate. Yet it's not just in one culture. So how could that all be off? That's it's crazy. But that's pretty much all I have on the DNAs and stuff. But I don't know if you have time to get into we don't fit kind of stuff, or should we wrap it up? Or
yeah, look, I think maybe we wrap it up there, mate, because humans don't fit and religion is the next two subjects we want to talk about. And I think there's a lot to both of those, and we probably wouldn't do it justice if we only did 10 minutes on humans don't fit. Because I got
tons of notes. Yeah, no way. Yeah.
So I think, we're probably at a good stopping point for part 4, and we'll come back and talk about why humans don't fit, and we'll have a more extended discussion on religion, which will be interesting. Because I'm gonna pick a few of the big ones and basically show everyone that they're all the same, and that's going to upset a few people. However, it is what it is, like in order for us to see clearly, we need to see what we're not looking at. Like it's if everything's all the same, then why are we fighting?
Yeah.
If there was a civilization that existed across the planet that had similar architecture, similar story, like there is a global religion and civilization and construction techniques that echo across the globe, which means once upon a time, color, creed, culture, religion did not matter the way it matters now. And the only way forward is to understand that. And that's part of what we're trying to do, trying to bring this series home with What Are Humans?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just the most largest missing bit of our why we're here and what we're doing, and it's I don't know what could almost be more important to talk about, really. And
I think just there's a thought that I had that when we're talking about genes and all that sort of stuff is that in 2025 we still don't know why we're conscious.
Yeah,
we still don't know what makes us conscious. We've got no idea what makes Leumas and me driven. We don't know. We just don't know.
We also don't know what a woman is. But you know what? I'm pretty sure I do.
I'm pretty sure I do too.
I'm positive.
But yeah, actually. Man, listen, I'm very positive. Dude, these are fun. I love these. I love this series. This is really cool.
And the listeners do too. I think that it's pretty popular on my side. I'm pretty sure yours as well.
On both platforms. Yeah. So look, we'll Sacred Sites 2 is building itself in the background, mate. We can't say too much about that, but it's building itself in the background. There's tests being done. There's footage being shot. There's interviews being teed up. That's all moving in the background. So
I would say that 2/3 of it might be shot. Maybe. A lot's been shot. So
a lot's been shot. Yeah, I've got to pull my proverbial finger out and do my bit. So, which we'll get done over the spring summertime down here in Australia. Well, mate, look, let's come back. Humans don't fit religion, and we'll figure out where we go from there. Because I think we probably need to go back over our notes and just double check that we haven't missed anything. However. Awesome, man. Lovely to see you again. Always love working with you, man. These are really cool to me.
These are awesome. These are awesome. Well, everyone, thanks for listening, and enjoy part 5, this part, but enjoy part 5 when it comes out. It's just, if you haven't listened to the previous parts, then you might be lost. So hopefully not, but yeah.
Look, it doesn't hurt to go back to 1, 2, and 3 if you've picked up here at 4. Yeah, it's not. What was it? 4, 5, 4.
Yeah, we're gonna lose track.
What number we're up to?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Look after yourselves. Cheers.
Cheers.